I often consider resolution a bit like outer space. We see it every day, but many people haven't done exploring there. I am going to take a look at 3 images that simply have the resolution changed and no compression settings. They are saved in pure PSD or Photoshop format. If I double-click this 72 pixel per inch image, that's ideal for on-screen only, web and mobile devices. If I double-click this image at 150 pixels per inch, that should be perfect for laser or inkjet printing. Anything between 150 and 225 ppi, pixels per inch, which you may also hear called DPR, which stands for dots per inch, ultimately do the same thing, but being a Photoshop teacher, I specify that pixels are square and dots are round. So often dots per inch refers to your output device, while pixels is referring to a scan software or a digital camera shot. Now I am going to open the 3rd version of this image at the highest resolution, 240 pixels per inch, actually what the camera captured, and I will double-click on Mini Bridge to collapse it. Now you may notice the zoom level here is 12.5%. On the 150 ppi image, it's 16%, and on the 72 ppi image, it is 33%. But you may say they all look pretty close in Photoshop. There is just a slight difference. If I checked image and image size, this image is 14 by 10. I will click here and choose image. Image size 14 by 10, and finally 14 by 10. All 3 have the exact same printable width and height. Photoshop never actually shows you your printable dimension. For higher resolution images, they will appear closer, and you could zoom in further. For a lower resolution images, they will appear smaller, meaning I am only zoom into 33%, and you can't zoom in this far. Let's compare them side by side. I will close the middle one for illustration purposes. So I had the lowest rent, web and MOBO, and a higher rents, which is ideal for high-end print, but typically in the high input world, they want somewhere around 300 pixels per inch. I will choose Window, Arrange, and Tile horizontally. There you could see them side by side. I will go to my magnifying glass tool and I will simply click and drag up until the little girl's eyes are in view. I will do the same here. Click and drag up. If your click and drag up doesn't work, simply do single clicks. I have an accelerated video card, so my zoom is working the scrubby zoom. To click and drag down to zoom out. Click and drag up to zoom in. You can just do single clicks if you don't have accelerated video card. But as I click to zoom in, you will clearly notice a quality difference in the 2 images. I will use my spacebar to bring this back and review, and this high red is clearly different. Once you start zooming in, then the low-res version. Now let's compare compression techniques. If I close these 2, and I open up a separate group of images where I started playing with the compression ratio settings, here I saved the original camera image to a JPEG file with maximum quality. Then I took it down the medium, then I took it down to low, all of the exact same resolution. Now come over here and double-click on Mini Bridge to collapse it. I will also hit Shift-Tab on my keyboard to minimize the panels on the right. They are only hidden, they are still there. Shift-Tab hides them or shows them. And I will choose Window Arrange 3 up, the end up meaning 2 up, 3 out of many images you have opened. View it once on the screen will let you do horizontal or vertical. I am going to do vertical because I have a little bit more room, and I am still on my magnifying glass tool, and I will click and drag to zoom in again to an eye. I will hold down my spacebar to bring it into review, and Photoshop has a very cool feature, Window, Arrange, Match All, so that the other two get the exact same zoom and location. Now with these three images, all I did was take the same starting file, the Photoshop, save it as JPEG with the compression at 12 for maximum. Then I changed it to medium, then I changed it to low, which is all the way down at 3. The width and height in image size is identical on all of these images, and actually the resolution number is identical. The JPEG is a lossy compression. When it saves, every time it saves, it permanently trashes detail or data. You could see the image got a little bit worse here for the medium compression, and far worse, I lost a lot of tones. The baby seems to get paler as I go down. I also introduce a lot of JPEG compression noise or patterns in the image. If I zoom in very far, I can see that. And I can go back to Window, Arrange, Match All to view the same spot, and you are not getting those problems. But let's take a look at how this affects the file size also. When I minimize, you will notice the first three uncompressed images that only had resolution changes, 14 megs, 6 megs, 1.79 meg, 1700K. If I start getting into the three we were looking at with JPEG impression, my file went from 14 megs down to 2.7. Now when I started lowering the quality of the image by doing more compression, using the medium setting and down to 349K and then to low at 328. A lot of people don't know that their images had been baked or cooked a few times or resaved as JPEG, so they may think they have got a 150 pixel per inch image at maximum quality, and it's better than something at 240 pixels per inch at low quality. That's not necessarily the case. If you look at them side by side, I will close these two and choose Window, Arrange 2 up vertical, and Window, Arrange, Match All, so we get the same spot. The quality is going to suffer because the image has been saved over and over and over again. Also, you will notice I had to zoom back in when there is a resolution change. Photoshop is not going to match the zoom level for zoom level, so you need to know where your images are born, if they are being recompressed over and over again. If I look at the smallest one of all of these, after it's been saved, it's like a copy, and without even zooming in at all, I can see Window, Arrange, 2 up vertical, and I will just fit this one in Window by just hitting Command 0 or Control 0. Even though low quality 150 pixel bridge image looks far better than the one, you are starting to get dithering or patterning in the file. I left you all of my original images and the saved down versions so you could look at them and compare the size and quality for yourself. But it is very important, if you are working with high quality output, to always ask for the original scan or the original digital camera shot so that you know 4 or 5 people haven't opened it up and resaved it applying different JPEG compression. Because every time you save as a JPEG, your file gets smaller, but you permanently lose data that you can no longer get back. So to review the numbers, just as we finish on our good note, for all web images and most mobile device images need only be 72 pixels per inch. For laser or inkjet printing, 150 pixels per inch is sufficient, and for high-end printing. Things that are going to a printing press or magazine quality, the number is typically 300 pixels per inch. In a native Photoshop format, Every time you double the resolution, the file size gets 4 times bigger, so that's why you need to know the proper width and height and the attended output to get the ideal resolution without a large file size, or the best quality without loss of resolution, or JPEG toys based on where you are going to print the image. Talk to your print job, talk to other designers, find out what is ideal for your workflow.